Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Day in the Life podcast. I'm Priya, and I'm joined by my lovely co host, Rajiv. How are you doing, Rajiv?
I am doing well. I'm very happy today because we have Devika Sharma with us, who has kindly agreed to take her time to drop in for a chat. So, Devika did her bachelor's at Lady Shri Ram College, then her master's at IIT Bombay, and finally did her PhD at TIFR in Mumbai, where throughout she studied pure mathematics. She later moved on to Israel to do a postdoc at the Weizmann Institute, which was supposed to be temporary, but we'll get to talking about how she's been there now a lot longer. And during that time, she sort of moved on to more applied sciences. So she started working in quantum safe classical cryptography and then quantum computing. And then in 2022, still in Israel, she joined a quantum startup there where she worked on making a roadmap for fault tolerant photonic quantum computing. And just recently, now in 2026, she's back into academia as a senior researcher in the physics department at the Weizmann Institute again. So we'll talk a lot about that and her journey and what her thoughts are. Also, when she's not thinking about quantum, she's a yoga practitioner and a meditation teacher, and she conducts regular classes and deepening retreats. So, of course, we'll get to that too. But before that, how are you, Devika? How are you doing?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much. I'm really good and happy to talk to both of you today. I think I watched excerpts of this podcast in the other episodes, and it sounded really fun. So I'm looking forward to my podcast too.
Yeah, we're also very excited that you're here because we've never, we met, three of us met through Q India, and it's been a while since we chatted. So this is really an excuse to get in touch again and find out how you're doing in life.
Yeah, it's just this recording thing that's running. Otherwise, it feels like the three of
Which
us are catching up on a
Yeah.
Zoom call.
Perfect. Devika, before getting into the details, I want to know what motivates you to do the work you do.
Which part? The research part or the non-research part?
Tell us both. Tell us how they connect also.
Okay, I think I generally, lately in my adult life, started doing things that I enjoy doing. I know things like this sound cliche, do what you love, and life will be easy living, and so far, things like that, but it's actually true. It's sometimes harder to choose to figure out what you actually like doing, but but once you are there and once you are aware that you are enjoying what you're doing, it becomes easy. So I think the in short the answer is I do what I do because I enjoy doing it. And in hindsight, I realized that I always enjoyed doing mathematics because it was fun. There were no rules. I was a very quiet child when I was growing up. And I was growing up with two siblings in a family, in a North Indian Punjabi family. I was a quiet child. So math was the only part of my life which resonated with me, which felt like, oh, this is a bit like me. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't dancing, it wasn't over friendly, it wasn't social. And also, there were no rules. Like you could make up your own rules and then see how far you can walk with it. And that's the beauty of abstract math. It doesn't believe anything to begin with. And then it just keeps building on tiny beliefs and seeing how tall a tower you can build of it. And sometimes these towers connects and you get insights. So it's a lot of fun. It's an expression outside that allows you to explore your inside. So that's the part I enjoy about my work, and it's very like the last sentence that last analogy I gave already must have told you that I I do regular meditation. I do a lot of self reflection. I constantly keep asking what's happening. How is this related to me? How is the duality of my existence happening in this universe? So I think basically my thoughts, either quantum or not, are constantly dabbling in the interaction of duality in the world. Yes.
Wow. So going from a very abstract and mathematical way of looking at your work, I guess when putting it into, well, when being able to do it in our world, you have done it through several ways. So you've done worked in academic institutes and you've also worked in startups. So again, before we get into the details of the work you've done, How did you? I mean, I think a lot of our viewers would not have had that experience to do both. So how did you like them, and what? How did they differ? How are they similar? Which one maybe did you like better?
I think both of them were, they came at the right time in my life. I was ready for both. Like I said, I was a quiet child and I liked sitting down and thinking of things by myself. So that casually and very easily led me into doing a PhD. Like you keep studying, you keep sitting with yourself, you get good grades, people applaud you for that, and it's obvious that, oh, you're going to be a mathematician. You become a mathematician. Then you realize, oh, I need to earn money through this. There's not a lot of money being a pure mathematician. But regardless, I came to the Weizmann to just do a postdoc. And the big thing that happened is that I realized that the social interaction between the academic setup in India is very, very different from the academic setup in Israel. People are generally, back in TIFR, people were very closed. It was like they were holding their fort very, very closely. Like
Mm.
it was so fragile that if they let it out, it would collapse in a moment. So that's why the faculty was very judgmental of the students. That was my experience. Other people can have other experiences at TIFR as well.
Interesting.
But when I came to Israel, people were more open. They were open to hearing your ideas. Like just a month ago, in a conversation, in a group conversation, the PI who was presiding over the conversation, he said, "I don't want a good idea. I want 9 bad ideas."
Mm.
Begin by loosening yourself while allowing yourself to just speak your mind, and then good ideas will
Interesting.
eventually flow. So I think the academics in India didn't allow me this kind of a space, and I found it in Israel. So the academics in Israel is very, very welcoming and nice. The corporate, yeah, so the analogy here would be that you sit inside a cave and you're trying to figure something out and you figured it out, but now you need to go out in the world and tell people what you figured out. Pretty much like how Buddha did it. He meditated, reached enlightenment, but now he needs to share. So the sharing and the expression part actually came from the corporate. So I had all my research. I went to the corporate startup, which was actually at its very beginning stages, and I basically designed a whole roadmap for them for quantum error correction that would be relevant for their photonic hardware. So it was a way, it was a nice opportunity to express my work rather than just writing it down and into papers and uploading them on the archive and waiting for other people to hear them. So that was, the corporate setup is more expressive and the academic setup is more introspective, I feel. And both of them, I think you need a balance of doing both. So I did this, I went out and did that, I got a bit exhausted with that, and I came back and I'm doing this again. And I think the corporate environment also needs people who have this sort of flexibility because the hardware needs to catch up in order to become ready for the theory, which in a lot of startups it's not as yet. So in the meantime, people need to do more interesting things, and I think academics allows for you to do that. So that was my experience.
And can I ask, was it because you started off with mathematics and then you worked on quantum also? Is there something particular, given how nascent the field is, in your work in academia and in corporate, that you found is particular to working in such a new and nascent field?
I didn't understand the question. What do you
So,
mean?
was it the fact that you were working on quantum, particularly making a quantum error correction roadmap for a startup, that already is such a it's such an open, and I find is a pretty challenging task. It's something people are still trying to figure out. So, how is it because you were doing that? Were there particular challenges there?
Yeah, there were challenges of the sort that you first need to know a general landscape of the field. You
Mm-hmm.
basically need to know what is relevant for what is there in quantum error correction. You need to first know that. So that's a huge cloud. And then inside that, there's a subcloud of what is relevant to a photonics setup. So there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of understanding other people's point of views into why this is suitable for photonic and unsuitable for photonic and things like that. And I think being a mathematician got me the skill of very quickly reading a big paper and quickly figuring out what's the crux
Mm-hmm.
and what do people intend to do. And I think also being a quiet person helped me pinpoint, oh, this is what you probably mean. Because a lot of times talkative people lose the point because there's a lot of noise. This is how I feel. I don't have anything against talkative people. All people around me are very, very talkative and I really enjoy it. But I think being quiet allows you to see what the other person means to say. So those were
And
the, yeah.
no, please go ahead.
No, just was going to summarize that those were the two things. Being a mathematician, had the skill of reading a lot of papers to know the landscape. I'm not an expert, so people maybe chalking down the roadmap in Google are genuinely researchers and experts doing that. I was doing it for a small startup, and it was. I'm really grateful that they trusted me with this important responsibility. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point you mentioned, which you say as a mathematician you're able to get to the crux of a paper, and I think that's generally I think maybe I don't know if underrated, but definitely a very difficult skill that I think all researchers kind of need to have, right? Because like you said, if you're exploring quantum error correction, you need to first look at quantum computing, and then and it's like you can't just read everything, all the details, right? To like really get to the point of like what is the crux of it and is it important for you and how is it relevant, right? Maybe I can ask you like did you feel that coming from like pure mathematics to something quantum, this was pretty natural, or finding switching from reading those types of papers to these quantum computing papers?
So it was a very gradual transition. When I started doing it, I actually joined a computer science group here at the Weizmann in 2018, and computer science was new to me. I am still not very quick at those public key encryption. This works like that works like that, and combinatorics. I again just understand the point, and then I see why it works, but then I'm not creative enough to design public key encryption protocols. So that was one thing that was tough for me to transition. But the faculty that I started working with, he was doing a quantum computing course in the institute at that time. So I attended his course. Basically, quantum computing is a lot of linear algebra, and
Yeah.
at the same time, on paper, it's linear algebra, but you do need to have quantum understanding, quantum mechanics, quantum physics. Like, where is all of this coming from? Because if I just ignore that and do linear algebra, I will not be able to make sense of what this matrix even means. So the on paper part was very easy for me because it was trivial linear algebra, but the why was tough because I never studied physics officially, not even in school. So I had a hard time picking up on why are people thinking like this and what is quantum physics. But the person that I was working with was very, very patient with me, and so we were discussing a lot, and that made me ease into this whole transition instead of suddenly deciding, oh, from tomorrow on I'm going to do quantum computing and forget about number theory. I wasn't like that. So I'm actually glad that it was a slow and gentle transition.
Very cool. And in this process of your transition, now let's get a little bit more into the work. Which one of your projects? I mean, I'm sure there's many, but if you had to pick one for now, let's say for this podcast, which one is like especially exciting for you? Whether it was because of the actual technical aspects of it or what happened around it, the circumstances around it, and yeah, why that one?
So I did a project at the company. Without really going into the details, I can tell you what was the crux of the project, and I genuinely really enjoyed it because it showed the company the value of a mathematician. So it was
Oh,
sort of like a winning moment for me that I could show them through my work that mathematicians are useful people. They are not just philosophers who sit on a hill and write about Galois representations. Uh, so the idea was to basically you have a photonic hardware, and I was supposed to write down what are the advantages and um, what are the features and what are the bugs. So what are the
got you.
features in a photonic hardware, and where are the sources of noise and things like that. So I needed to basically give them a list of instructions. So I'm not sure how familiar are you guys with photonic quantum computing?
Barely.
Let's say Yeah, let's say especially people in the audience may not be. So
Mm.
let's and I'm definitely not very much so.
No, but you can go into it. You can get into it. We'll ask you questions. Yeah.
Okay, so in general, a photonic setup has to, because it's photons which are very, very short lived, you have to constantly teleport information from one photon to the next. And then in this teleportation, you also have to do the computation and keep measuring and making sense of it. So imagine that it's like you have a huge entangled state here, and it's moving in time, and the movement is in time is actually teleporting this photonic information to here, to here, to here, so on and so forth. So you have like a long cluster state. Okay. And error correction will generally happen between this slice being compared to this slice. And there are lots of photons in the middle. So I assume that there is this huge cluster state, and the task was how are we going to build it on our photonic device? Because how are you going to tell the setup which photons to produce first, which entanglement to do next, and which photons to measure? There needs to be a list of instructions for the hardware. And I needed to do it in a way so the noise would be as low as possible. So it basically means writing down the attributes of your system on one side. And the cool thing was we managed to, I was working with a faculty at the Weizmann. She's a very, very famous computer scientist who's now at Princeton. Her name is Irit Dinur. I asked the company to hire her as an advisor so she and I could work together, and we were working together on it. We looked at the list of attributes, we looked at the tasks that needed to be done, and we found that it's exactly the same as a matching problem in computer science.
Oh
So we
wow.
managed to translate this problem of a photonic hardware to a well-known problem in computer science, and then we took the solution from that and teleported it back to our problem, and hence we had a solution. So if not, maybe very smart physicists can do it, but this is actually what mathematics does. It looks at something and it says, oh, these are the general building blocks, and it looks similar to that one, and we already have a solution over there. So let's pull back the solution here. So that was my favorite project while I was at the company.
And I assume just going back to what you said about translating this to people at the company at various who have different levels of expertise
Right.
on quantum. So that was also a thing that you had to do and present it in a way that actually worked for them and
Right. So that was always a task to be able to deliver it in a way that the CEO understands it, and also like the top management who are not really computer scientists, they get it. And also at the same time, not lose the wow factor of, oh, that's important. Because sometimes when you trivialize a problem, people are like, okay, so what did you do in this? It's obvious. So yeah,
yeah.
that was a bit of a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, but sounds very cool. And I can imagine sounds very rewarding as well for
Yeah.
yourself and yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Can I ask now then? So that was a project you worked on, but where are you right now in your year of research?
So right now, I came back to research a few months ago, and we had a problem in mind. Now I'm working with a scientist at the Weizmann. His name is Serge Rosenblum. He is a young guy, but a very, very smart guy. He's a faculty at the Weizmann, but he also has a company. And his company is attempting to solve the scalability issue for superconducting qubits.
Oh.
Because we popularly know that superconducting qubits have a huge scalability
Mm,
problem because if you increase them, you also need to increase the whole fridge. Basically, the volume of scalability is huge there. So his startup is attempting to solve that issue. And hence, we are generally interested in lowering the space-time overhead for quantum computing, like doing it in the most succinct way, not using a lot of qubits at a time. So when you do you want me to go into details?
yeah.
Yes.
Sure, please.
So in superconducting qubits, generally, let's assume that everybody wants to work with the surface code because they know it's the comfort zone. If you want to work with a surface code, then the easiest way of doing easiest way of doing logical gates on superconducting qubits is doing lattice surgery. And usually, lattice surgery has a very thick space-time cost. So if you are in a distance d surface code, you need a d cube of qubits to be able to implement just one round of lattice surgery. We have an idea of lowering that
Mm.
so that this thickness doesn't depend on the distance. So you can scale, but the thickness should remain constant. And I think I had a sort of an insight. I don't want to call it a breakthrough already. I'm working on that idea, and if it works out, then hopefully you guys will read it on the archive
Okay.
in a few
That's
months.
awesome. So you're like really deep at this moment. You're like really deep into the technical parts of your work.
Yeah, I'm again at that point in my life where I was during my PhD when you work so much that even when you go to sleep, you're confused because you're seeing numbers and you're not sure if this is a conversation or it's a number. So I'm back to that.
Well, that's so. In addition to feeling confused about numbers and your technical work, what other parts of the work excite you when you're there when you're working?
I think the part that really, really excites me about being in the quantum field is that, in general, being in research is talking to people and discussing work with them. That's the only time in my week where I don't look at the time. Like last week, I had a discussion with one of the PhD students in the department. He's a really bright guy. And I was with him for 3 hours. It just felt like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. It was after 3 hours, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to be somewhere else 2 hours ago. So that's actually the part that I genuinely enjoy when you're discussing abstract ideas with another human being.
Actually, this happened to me right before this podcast. I was in the office and then I was like, oh crap, I have to leave because I have podcast recording to do. So I could, yeah, totally relate to that. I was talking to my intern. He's a super bright guy. And yeah, same thing. We're just on the whiteboard. And then suddenly he was like, I gotta go.
It's similar to how when you're kids and you're playing with somebody, and then suddenly your mom says, "Oh, time to come back
Right.
home." And you're like, no, but I'm enjoying it.
And I
So,
think it's especially nice, and because I just, even during my master's, our cohort was full of people from different backgrounds. So I think it's especially nice to speak to, because of how interdisciplinary quantum is, to speak to
right,
somebody else who speaks a different language, but you're talking about the same thing. And then
completely.
suddenly it's been like 3.5 hours, and then you're like, exactly, that's what I've been saying. Yeah, that's what I've been saying too. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, that
yeah,
is very rewarding.
true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so in your work right now, there's a bunch of deep work and thinking about technical stuff, brainstorming. You get to speak to people. But can you tell us what your typical day in the life looks like? Like give us from the start to the finish.
So I told my partner that I'm meeting Rajiv and Priya. It's a podcast that these guys run. It's called A Day in the Life of a Quantum Scientist. And he said, "Okay, what do you guys do apart from sitting? All I see you do is
No, no.
you're sitting over there, or
He's
you
not
walk a little
wrong.
bit." He's not wrong. Yeah. So my generic day looks like sitting. But it starts a bit early in the morning because I like to wake up and do some meditation by myself when it's quiet. I think it really helps me be in a country which is confusing for everybody in the world, and it really helps me to make sense of why, what, etc. And then I have a short yoga session. Recently started learning Hindustani classical music, so I try to do my riyaz
Wow.
in the morning, but I'm just not. It's never enough.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And usually after that, my partner wakes up. We have coffee in the morning, and then both of us go to the Weizmann. He also works at the Weizmann, and then it's a usual day of working. I sit with a couple of master students who are very cute. It's a lot of fun to interact with the younger generation.
Yeah, I agree.
They're cute. They're like, sometimes they have problems and they share it with you, and you're like, oh, I'm so sweet. Even your problems are so cute. And then I have lunch either with some friends at the Wordsman or with the group. And then I come back home. Lately, been listening to the latest season of Indian Idol. Those kids sing really, really well. So I love watching them. And then in the evening, again, I do some yoga practice or some chanting. I cook every day, which is very, very strange for Israelis and Westerners
Mhm.
because they usually cook over the weekend for the whole
Yeah.
week, put everything in the fridge, take it out, heat it, and eat it. I see with the nodding that Rajiv is very familiar with that lifestyle. Yeah. But
Indeed.
yeah, but for me, I need to eat something that I've cooked in the last 2 hours. So I have to have fresh food. It's a huge requirement, which
Mhm.
actually makes me very, very unavailable for hangouts in the evening or even long office hours because I need to go back home and cook like a grandmother. I need fresh food.
I live with my grandmother now. I've been back, and this is the biggest lifestyle change now. That it has to be. I'm like, no, you put it in the freezer, but no, it has to be. It has to be cooked
Yeah.
2 hours
I
ago.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't understand that logic. Put it in the freezer and freeze it, and everything will stop decaying. And then suddenly, when you bring it out, it will begin decaying again. No.
Fair enough.
So in the evening, I cook, and then we have a nice. I think dinner is our most festive hangout in the day for me and my partner. So we eat dinner together. We chat about the day. We have a tiny game over dinner with the best part highlight and worst highlight of the day.
Ah, that's
Uh-huh.
nice, actually.
So we do that, and then I usually go to sleep by 10, so I can wake up by 5:30 ish. That's my general day.
Very cool. I mean, I like the part where you said, I can't, it prevents me from doing long office hours because I need to be home to cook. And I think, especially recently, but overall, I think I've also been thinking about how, like, really, the work life balance is important. Also, just to do well in the professional life, it's something that's otherwise it's not sustainable, right? So,
Yeah.
how do you've mentioned a little bit about what you do when you're not working, but also like in terms of after the office or even in the weekends, like what do you do to balance out your personal and professional life? What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like going out for walks. I love reading. So I'm associated with the Bihar School of Yoga, Munger Ashram in India, and they have a lot of literature on philosophy and practices. Um, I want to show you a book that I'm reading
Sure.
recently. So I read books, and this is the recent most book that I'm
Oh.
reading.
Mm-hmm.
It describes the concept of Yog Nidra. Yog Nidra is a meditative practice. It's the first meditative practice to go from pratyahara to dharana. Pratyahara is withdrawing your senses, and dharana is basically focusing. So it's an easy, relatively easy way of a pratyahara practice. And it's easy to do because it's a list of instructions that you listen to while you're lying down. And the only task is to continue to listen to the instructions, follow them, and not fall asleep. Not falling asleep is a hard challenge.
I can relate because I did my yoga nidra like 4 hours ago and I did fall asleep. Yeah.
But
But
on
then
the
I've gotten better. I've gotten better. I don't usually fall asleep.
true, yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I've
Yeah.
gotten better.
Yeah.
Until a few years ago, I used to. Also, sometimes even now, I fall asleep, and then I allow myself
Yeah.
because sometimes your body is so tired that,
Mm-hmm.
and also the quality of that sleep is very different than sleeping
Mm.
a whole
Mm.
8 hours.
Mm.
So I'm reading about the how does the brain respond during your yoga nidra? What is happening internally? Why is it considered a withdrawal of the senses
Mm.
practice? Why is it a pratyahara practice? So over the weekend I usually read these books,
Mm-hmm.
and also I go to meet my partner's family for lunch or dinner one time, and I learn a lot of Hebrew with their conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I like walking. I'm very involved with the Seeking Yogi. It's a brand where I'm the meditation teacher, and there are two yoga teachers. It's a brand that is in India, They have a yoga shala in India. And we also do other immersive courses, both for yoga and for meditation. So these are the two things. So generally, yes, my day either during the week or over the weekend is a lot about sitting, either sitting or a yoga pose.
That's the best. Oh, walking. You also mentioned walking. I think
Oh,
you've got
yeah.
it all.
I walk a
And
lot. I don't drive in Israel because I just find it very frustrating. Coming from India, I can't follow their rules. So I prefer walking.
and do you feel like this is you're in where you want to be in terms of the balance between sitting and doing work and all the other things that you have in life?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it for now. So I'm constantly this is also a life practice that I want to listen to what the life force in me intends to do through this physical body. Right now, it feels very at peace in this kind of a lifestyle, which has a lot of sitting and thinking. But maybe it will change because when a few years ago, when I was doing acro yoga, it was very, very dynamic. There was a lot of physical body movement and
Mhm,
much less sitting.
mhm.
So maybe it's a transition and maybe it's a phase. And if it comes back to being more active physically, then so be it. And I will do that. But not running.
No.
Running is the most boring physical activity. I don't understand. Half this country is running in the evenings inside my apartment, and I just don't understand
We're gonna have a bunch of runners watching this, just like yelling at their screen. No, but it's great.
Well, I know we have to get to the spice it up or slice it up game, which I'm dreading, and you will know why soon. But before that, I just want to quickly ask you if you could have dinner with anyone at all, living, dead, famous, not famous, who would it be?
that. Can I say two people?
Sure.
We're not
Okay.
started the game yet, so
Yeah,
you
we
can.
haven't.
Yes.
The first person is Jim Carrey. I would love to go out for dinner with him.
Wow, that's a great answer.
He seems like a really cool person that everybody will agree with. But I genuinely think that his coolness comes from the fact that he's fearless. He doesn't mind making faces. There's very less self judgment. And I would like to imbibe a bit of that from him. And secondly, I think he also has a very nice sense of humor towards the whole, how inconsequential we are in this grand universe. Yet at the same time, he has a feeling of gratitude towards living a human life. So I love, and he does both of these in a very cool sense of humor. There's a very famous Golden Globe speech by him where he says, I am not just any person. I am a two-time Golden Globe Award winner, and I don't just go to sleep. I have a well-deserved shut-eye. So yeah, he would be a fun person to go out, hang out over a dinner. And another person to go with is Diljit Dosanjh, only because this guy seems to really okay. He sings well, so
Right.
it'll be fun. There will be a lot of singing and dancing. Uh, and also from his interviews, it seems like he's a person who knows how to rest and do nothing.
Huh.
So it'll be fun to have a companion at sitting and doing nothing.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know many Diljit Dosanjh songs. Do you have a recommendation I could in his discography?
No, I only like the Urta Punjab song that he sang.
Okay, noted. I'll
Recently.
start there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, the Ikori song was the nicest.
okay, got it.
The rest of them are a bit international hip hop for me, and that's not my kind. But I
Oh no,
think,
don't say that. He won't come to dinner with you then, in case he's
no,
watching.
in fact, I'm interested in the kind of music he sings for himself,
Ah,
not
okay.
for the shows. So those are the
All
two
right.
people.
So then, on that note, maybe we start the game and continue in the spirit of asking you more, choices to pick. So this is a game that's inspired by a hip hop podcast called Drink Champs. It's a game in which I will ask you to choose between two things, and you could choose the first one or the second one, or you could say neither or both. And this is based on whatever subjective criteria you would like. However, if you say neither or both, then we all of us have to take a bite of something spicy. So before I ask you the first question, maybe you can all share what we got. I got a hot sauce from Bulgaria. Actually, surprisingly, in Bulgaria they can't eat very spicy. I did not know that until very recently. So it's a nice hot sauce from there. What do you got, Priya?
And with the way that it's dripping, it looks like you've already tasted it.
Yes, I have. I have. It's open. It's open. It's good, but it's this has been around for a while, and you can see I've only had this much, so don't put too
Yeah.
much on my food.
I've got, well, my grandmother wanted to make bhaji today. Do you guys know what bhajis are? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah.
fried. Yeah, and then I told her I had a thing. I had to explain without explaining too much, and I have to I need a spicy thing because we're going to record something. And she's like, "What are you even doing?" But she made me one bhaji with like 4 chilies in it, which
Ooh.
already I
Ooh.
find it spicy. So today is going to be, I have a singular one, and that's what I'm going to take a bite of.
That's not fair. You're gonna take tiny bites. There'll be no slayer.
Yeah, but then a no waste food policy means I'm going to have to finish the entire thing at some point anyway. So,
Oh, that
yeah,
may not be on camera, so unfortunately
no,
for us, but
no, it's definitely not going to.
And the hot thing that I got with me is this very hot looking hot chili.
Oh, I hope for your sake it's not too bad. Looks
Yeah,
terrifying.
me too. But I also got a nice cup of water. And I keep
that's
it
fair.
right there so I can go drink some honey.
Your cup of water is really cute. I have like the whole 1 liter bottle.
I'm trying to be all poised and chop her off for the podcast.
That's nice. And I actually forgot to take a cup of water, which is doubly bad because my wife rightly says that I don't drink enough water. So I'll have to sort that out after the episode. Okay, so the first question, Shore or Grover?
Sure, for sure.
Shore for sure. Okay, I like that. Next one, quantum algorithms in cryptography or quantum error correction algorithms?
What's quantum error correction algorithms? Like quantum error correction codes?
Whatever you interpret that is, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to interpret quantum error correction algorithms as new codes, let's say LDPC kind of codes. And quantum algorithms is usefulness of quantum computer. Yes, yes, both.
Oh,
Both.
both. Oh, both. Oh,
Okay.
no.
So
Okay.
wait, when do I eat it?
And
We all
now,
eat it.
Now? Oh, oh, I was thinking I'm gonna say both and then make you guys suffer, but I guess
No,
I
we
won't
all
do it.
suffer together if you say both. I think it's great though.
Yes. It's tasty. It's sweet.
oh, so it's not really
No, it's
oh,
not something.
it's one of
Oof.
those red
Oh, it's hot.
pepper.
Yeah, it's hot. It has a delay
Oh,
period, but it's hot.
Okay.
Sorry, very hot.
okay, next one, Rajiv. Keep it moving.
the the Heisenberg uncertainty principle or the no clone theorem?
The Heisenberg uncertainty principle or the
No clone theorem.
both.
Oh,
That's what makes quantum spicy.
indeed. This is too big. Oh.
Okay, I'm already there.
All
Please be
right.
decisive for the next ones. You got
The
this.
next one is C.V. Raman or Satyendranath Bose.
Oh, both. Yes.
Both.
But, no, they're unfair. Of course,
No.
Okay.
I actually don't know how Bose is related to quantum physics, but his speakers are amazing. Is he the same Bose?
Yeah, I mean, several ways, but well, the boson is named after him, and
Right.
the Bose-Einstein condensate as well, among many things that he did.
Yes, of course.
Okay, the next one is it's a bit specific to the field, but it's like surface codes or like the good, i.e., constant rate and linear distance LDPC codes.
If you ask me,
Yeah, it's just you and your subjective opinion, and
Yeah, but the diplomatic answer again would be both because
No.
people are trying. No, I'm not giving. That's not my final answer.
Okay.
I can barely talk now. But personal favorite, and I genuinely feel that we shouldn't be wasting resources. Pretty much like need to finish the food that's on your plate. So constant rate, high distance LDPC codes.
Yeah.
But surface codes are good for experimentalists. So since I'm working with them, I want them to be happy as well. However, in the future, we should lean towards LDPCs. Let's not eat anymore. That's my.
Well, I think the next few questions are not so bad. Although I don't know about the next one, but the one after I think is okay. We have post quantum cryptography or quantum key distribution.
I know very little about quantum key distribution. And I think post quantum cryptography is now. It's more now than QKD. Also, again, QKD, I don't know much about it, but again, is very resource intensive. And I don't really understand. Okay, I'm not that part of the population that is very futuristic about, okay, let's go all the way and set out all the resources and then we'll see what comes out of it. We generally don't follow that philosophy in life. So, yes, the first one, post quantum cryptography. We already have the setup. Let's try to see what works.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. And then next one is NISC or fault tolerant,
Fault tolerant.
as I would have been surprised otherwise. We have one more. I think Priya likes to
I
ask this
really
last one.
hope. I really hope you know. But what qubit are you betting on? What is your favorite qubit?
What qubit am I betting on? I'm not an experimentalist, and only when I started working at the company, I found out about photonics. And only when I came back to the Weizmann at this physics lab, I know more about superconducting qubits and also about neural atoms, which have different kinds of advantages. I can barely speak, you guys.
So just tell
But
us. The one is.
personally,
Uh huh.
personally, I think I'm really looking forward to this company called PsyQuantum in the US to see what they come out with because I really like their literature. And I haven't
Okay.
been following them for a while, so I don't know what's up with them now. But when I was following their literature, I would have bet on them.
Okay. Photonics it is.
Yes, photonics it
Yeah.
is.
On that note, and I'm so glad we're done.
Oh, are we?
Thank.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for putting up with the spice for this game. But thank you so much for chatting with us. This was lovely. Before we let you go, do you have any advice for people watching? It can be people thinking of quantum, getting into quantum, students in quantum, professionals, but also it can be life advice.
Life advice. I can begin as a guru and keep going on. This will be a podcast. No, I'm kidding. Generally, for students, especially in the quantum world, my advice is to it's hard and it requires maturity to cancel out the quantum noise.
Mm,
When I say quantum noise, I mean quantum social noise. People love using the word quantum almost as if it's fairy dust. You will sprinkle a little bit, and out comes another world that you hadn't seen before, like another bedazzling world. It's not like that. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And that was also, I mean, this is something, it's something that makes me not want to go on LinkedIn very often. There's a lot of quantum conversation, and it's very time consuming and energy consuming and life consuming to parse through all of that and get something meaningful out of it. That
exactly.
said, there's also energy in being part of a social group. So if it's working out for you, being on the quantum cloud with the 20,000 other people and you're feeling the energy of being part of a movement, good. But I think real contribution does come from deep work and quiet. Yeah, so that's my advice to them. Seek some quietude.
That's
I
lovely.
like that. So on that
Yeah.
note, thank you again, Devika, for the time. So you have, in addition to the work that you're doing that people should look out for, I know you have a yoga retreat coming up. So before we wrap up, do you want to tell us a couple words about that?
Yeah, so we are doing Seeking Yogi is doing a yoga retreat in Kodaikanal, which is in the south of India in Tamil Nadu, which turns out to be um, what? It's the town that you guys are from, not the town, the state that both of you are from,
Yeah,
right?
indeed.
Oh,
Shout out to Tamil
I
Nadu.
didn't know. Yeah, I was talking to two Tamilians today. So the retreat is in Kodaikanal. It's a week long immersive retreat for people who are interested in deepening their questioning of the self, who they are, why are they here, and what are they supposed to do. Because a lot of times you know yourself. I knew myself as a person in words that my mother described. In my head, Devika is a blah blah blah. Devika is not a very social person. So for the longest time in my life, I believed it. It was only when I arrived to Israel I realized, and then I had the space, the distance from my mother, and the space to find out who I'm actually am. I found out that Devika is not a social person. Devika actually has a decent balance of being by herself and being social. I'm loving talking to you guys right now, and genuinely, and it required. I required that space to find out who I am. Otherwise, I would have lived a life on this belief, on this restricting belief that I'm not a social person. So this is why coming to a deepening immersive retreat where people have already walked a little bit in that path and can tell you how to do it and what it might lead to. The journey will be yours because you are coming with your own set of beliefs and superstitions, if at all, but like your own baggage of how your friends have described you, how your teachers have described you, and how you yourself describe yourself in your mental activity. So also, I constantly keep asking myself, what are you thinking? Where are you putting your mental energy throughout the day? These are the kind of questions that we will be dealing with. And then, because it's an immersive, closed environment, it will be a safe space for you to outpour and understand who you are. If you try to do it at home, without guidance, it can sometimes lead to things that you're not ready for. Which is why in the Indian tradition we focus so much on the guru shishya tradition. You need to have a guru who knows just a little bit more, maybe, than you are, who can be a guide for now. So I'm through Rajiv and Priya's platform. I'm inviting whoever feels ready to do this kind of work for themselves to Kodaikanal
Absolutely.
in April. Yes.
Let's go. And we will put the link below in the description. So if you're interested in more details, please, I encourage you to check it out. So on that note, thank you again, Devika, for taking your time to come talk to us. This was super fun. The music you're hearing right now is from Himanshu Katara. And we will see you all in the next episode. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks so much.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
We did too. Love it.